Guess where we're at? I mean, we're leaving. But still, it counts.
I think that adoptees get stuck in denial.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's a topic that we can talk about, but that's going to take way more thought before I'm ready to launch into it.
You don't want to do it right now?
Not right now.
Okay.
No.
Fine, then we'll talk about something else. On Yes, We're Adopted, Don't Make It Weird. I'm Brett. I'm not introducing you this time.
You're not doing that anymore?
Nah, you have to introduce yourself.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
No.
Hi. I'm just going to say hi.
That was super awkward. Super weird. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Yes, We're Adopted, Don't Make It Weird. Today, we already went to Wendy's. So we already got filled up with adoption food. Because Wendy's is adoption food.
The official food of adoption. Hashtag Wendy's.
It is. They actually
tweet that at Wendy's.
Listen, they actually put out, was it a Twitter campaign or some kind of social media campaign revolving around adoption this last month. They did a bunch of things on it. Yeah, and so Wendy's is the official food of the adopted people, which is us.
Yeah.
Yay, us.
Hashtag sponsorship now.
This week we're going to talk a little bit about what Davo has been reading lately, because he is a nerd and likes books.
I do like books.
But books be all wordy and things.
Hashtag
so,
Kanye.
Thanks a lot, Kanye, for that one.
Yeah.
So Davo's been doing a lot more adoption reading as of late in order to study up on what it means to be adopted, because he's still trying to figure that out, I think.
Aren't we all?
No.
Just trying
I
to
already figured it out.
figure out what it means to be us.
No.
It's just a lifelong search for... I just finished that one.
Oh, wait, no, wait, focus. I'm doing it with one hand. This is really difficult right now.
Nice.
There we go. Adult Adoption Anthology, Perpetual Child, Dismantling the Stereotype. Shaky cam. Okay, that was horrible.
Yeah, I just read that.
Yeah.
I picked that book entirely based on the title and the cover, I guess. Mostly just the title. I topped in...
Because it's flowery?
I put in adult adoptee into Amazon, and that had both of those words in it. And so it picked it up, and then I bought it and I read it, which is interesting. So, like, we've talked about this a little while ago, but I've read a lot of the books out there about adoption, and Brett watches a lot of the videos and podcasts and more of the media stuff and websites, and there's a ton of literature and there's a ton of content out there, but it almost always falls into the categories of like angry about this or depressed about this.
Yep.
Like those are your options, right? Like I'm either adopted and mad, or I'm an adoptee and I'm mad, or I'm sad. And nowhere do we ever get to be happy.
Adoptees, you don't get to be happy. Ever. Sorry.
So that's the lesson.
According to books, you just don't get to be happy ever.
Like, and this is social media in general most of the time, right? But like, it seems like it's just an extended therapy session, right? You're just like reading somebody's sob story so they can get it out there.
Yup.
And that's...
That's what everybody wants to do. I just want to read the comments on people's sob stories. I just want to see what people are saying about it. Like, hey, suck it up, stop it. And if they don't say that, I usually write that.
They're usually mad. The comments are mad and the sob story is sad. Mad and sad.
Mad and sad.
Never glad.
Oh, everybody's mad and sad.
Yeah. But, or extremely clinical, right? So, like, if you look up a lot of the adoption books or whatever, that's what you'll find. You'll find mad, sad, or doctoral dissertation. And I've read a couple of those too. And they're interesting.
No. So interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And almost none of them are ever written from a male perspective, and so like it's different because that doesn't necessarily apply to me when it's not written from a male perspective, or a lot of those stem from other areas of study that then also extend into adoption. So it's interesting to read them. This book that I picked up here was interesting because it was like it's an anthology of stories and some poems and some other stuff. Yeah, there's some poems in there, written by adult adoptees, right? So that's us. It's primarily women. There are a couple of guys that wrote some stories in there, which was interesting and new because you rarely see it. And about I don't know, 30% of what's in there is not a sob story or an anger thing, which was really cool. There's one story in particular, a lady who I think when she wrote it was in her like 50s or 60s, that was adopted. She's Korean and had written about kind of like the last couple of decades of her life. So she'd written a lot about her mom, her adoptive mom, and the life that she lived and like the way she looked up to her and how that inspired who she was today and all these things. And I found that to be extremely interesting and very poignant based on where I'm at right now. She actually mirrored very much what I'm going through right now, like, talking about when her mom had passed and was looking at just the life that her mom lived and how did that relate to me as an adoptee and all these things. And her mom was like supremely interesting. And that's been really interesting for me to look at and say, okay, like I'm very much in that place right now. Like my mom passed about 3 years ago, and that's been hard, and I feel, even the fact that I feel like I need to explain to people that when I say my mom passed, I mean my adoptive mom, right? Like that shouldn't be something that I should be compelled to do, but I feel compelled to do it. We've been going through converting all of her photos and slides and stuff to digital, which has been really interesting. Because my mom was really interesting, right? She was like a world traveler, and she was into photography and doing all these things. And, we've got all of her slides and pictures from like 1950 to 1980 of all over the world, like everywhere. And like we just looked at those ones from Oktoberfest, which were really cool. And being able to look at my mom's life and say like, this is part of the inspiration that I have now. This is a part of who I am today. And I wouldn't have it be different. I wouldn't want it to be any other way. And there are stories like mine. There are stories of quote-unquote success, or there are stories of adults that reconcile or come to terms, or however you want to say it, the adopted side of our lives, and embrace it and love it, right? That's what we do. That's what the channel is about. It's saying that there are things that are different and not understood, but we embrace those things and we like who we are because of them. And if you get nothing else out of the adoption literature, just know that there are a couple of gems out there. And it's not the whole book. The whole book, I found maybe 60% of it to be kind of annoying. But 30% of that book is really good. And has stories that are very inspiring and very relatable to me as somebody that's neither sad nor mad.
What's the other 10%?
There's 10% that's clinical.
Oh.
Yeah. Like the last chapter of that book, the last story is actually it's basically like a 20-page dissertation.
Oh, that sounds like so much fun.
You'd love it.
I'm gonna read that right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to Brett Reads a Book.
Uh-huh. Not out loud, just.
Yep.
There's a lot of literature out there, and I think it could stand to be pared down. As far as if all you're reading is the majority of what's out there, then you'd probably have the opinion that most adoptees, when they turn into adults, are either terribly depressed or extremely angry. And that's probably because those are the people that are inspired to write books. There's nothing marketable about contentment, right?
I enjoy my life. It's nothing special, and it's kind of ordinary, but I like it. I'm gonna write a book on that.
Remember how we were content? The end.
Ta-da! So this is a quick little plug that David doesn't know about, but hey, he's writing a book right now.
I am writing a book.
Yeah.
I don't know when it will be finished.
Well, I'm putting it out on the internet, so
now
you have
the
to.
internet knows.
Yeah, so
Writing a book.
keep him accountable for writing that book. And it's gonna talk a lot about anger and sadness. It's gonna be great.
I'm really angry and sad that everybody is angry and sad.
Yeah. It's gonna be great. So that's it for Davo's monologue for today, because I didn't read the book, so I really have nothing to say about it.
Hey,
The cover's kind of cool.
Send us more topics.
Yeah.
We're apparently bad at coming up with our own topics.
Yeah, listen, people. I need more things to rant about. I love ranting about stuff, and so if you can give me a topic that irritates you that would probably also irritate me, put it in the comments below, because I would love to be able to talk about it and yell.
Floppy French fries.
Oh, freaking floppy French fries. No, you have to get French fries well done. Any restaurant that I go to, I always get French fries well done, because I don't want this floppy, flaily piece of potato crap. The heck is that?
You do get really angry at the floppy French fries.
I hate it. They're just so they're moist. You don't want moist French fries.
You don't.
You want them to be crispy and have a crunch and just salty and delicious and fatty. Okay, now I'm mad. So thank you for joining us on Brett Gets Mad About French Fries with me and this nameless person that has been in the car with me this whole time.
It's weird.
I probably should call the cops.
But I'm driving. Did I abduct you in this scenario?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Please send help.
Huh.
Hey, Semi, please don't hit us.
Semis that drive too close to you. How do you feel about that? I can't even.
We can't get through.
I can't.
Okay, I got another thing to rant about now.
Okay, we're